This is security camera jail video Nacogdoches County did not want you to see. They asked a federal judge in Beaumont to seal it. Sorry, too late. Watch as Joseph Hanzich IV is literally thrown into a restraint chair. Jail Sergeant Bradley Garza is seen throwing punches at his face while he's handcuffed. This video may spark a widening investigation of injustice and civil rights violations by the Nacogdoches County Sheriff's Office. This shocking chronicle of conduct inside the jail back in November 2021 comes just months after we learned the FBI and a federal grand jury is already investigating the Sheriff's Office after this happened to Corey Rowland.
Hey, get back! Move! Get back! What the hell wrong with you? What the hell?
A voluntary witness in a criminal case.
It's just justice, just us. They act like they're untouchable.
Nacogdoches County Sheriff Jason Bridges punished no one for this new jailhouse video we are showing you. And we know the Texas Rangers simply ignored what happened to Joseph.
If they're doing it to him, they're doing it to other people. He's not the first.
In February, we first met Joseph and his dad, who passed away shortly after this interview. He told us he had called the sheriff's office to arrest his own bipolar son for threatening to beat him up. But he later saw how his son was treated inside jail. This video shocked him.
Look, knowing what I know now, I would have just let him beat me, then have him go through that. Made me angry. Well, they have no right to do that.
Let's go to the videotape. Hanzich was in jail, charged with a misdemeanor. Deputies claim he was suicidal. He was ordered to grab his stuff by a deputy and he leaves the screen after a fist bump to another inmate. Doesn't look depressed to me. We switch to a camera in the hallway. It is just 10 seconds later. Now watch what happens. In the hallway, we're told Hanzich had refused repeated orders to now drop all of his stuff. In 10 seconds, multiple deputies in statements after the incident said Hanzich had said, let's go play, and quote, turned around in an aggressive manner. One jailer said Joseph tried to punch one of the officers in the face. There is no audio, but you can watch it for yourselves. Do you see anything that justifies such a violent takedown?
There's no initial reason for them to need to use force. They cheap shot at me, they blindsided me, they slammed me down. I was never resisting to begin with. After that, they picked me up, prisoner style, carried me by my arms, had me cuffed, and they carried me by my shoulder sockets.
But it gets worse. This allegedly depressed inmate is thrown into the restraint chair and beaten while handcuffed, what deputies called pain compliance.
Once they put me in the full body restraints, I was begging and pleading with them.
You can see the kind of force they're using on his head. Joseph says what you're watching is a clear violation of his civil rights and a case of mistaken identity, that deputies confused him with another inmate with a very similar name, but in a lot more trouble. Joseph Anthony was in jail for a misdemeanor, but a guy named Anthony Joseph Piazza was in jail for family violence and aggravated assault involving the alleged choking of a relative. Joseph says he was told the takedown you watched in the hallway was really payback, a way for out-of-control deputies to play judge and jury.
At that point, one of the officers, he said that, you know what you did to your mom and daddy, boy, you had this coming to you.
As a result of the melee in the restraint chair, Hanzich is now charged with a felony for spitting on one of the officers. He admits it happened. He wanted the deputies to stop. That's not what happened. Watch the reaction.
Shortly after me spitting, Bradley Garza comes over top and hits me 5 times in the face, so much so that one of the officers has to pull her off of me.
Now watch a few minutes later as deputies are apparently done putting Hanzich in the chair. Deputy Alexander Riley, he sends another message, but it's not the message that may be the most alarming. Hanzich is totally restrained now, against the wall. But within a minute, this guy in black shows up. He'll inject this restrained prisoner with something. A year and a half later, we still aren't told what it was. Less than a minute after that, Watch what happens. Hanzich goes into convulsions and then appears to pass out. When deputies respond, they conduct no medical examination we can see on video. But we do see a deputy taking another shot at Joseph's face. We'll zoom. Look again closely.
The public gets to see what an inmate at a jail does to deserve having 4 adults pound on him, handcuff him, lynch him, put him in a chair, and then inject him with a chemical.
Nacogdoches County has had this video for over a year and a half and has taken no legal action against any of the deputies.
Why did you ignore complaints about abuse in the Nacogdoches County Jail? Why did you ignore those complaints?
Ranger James Hicks has come under growing scrutiny in both Nacogdoches and Angelina counties, called by some a rogue ranger. We've documented cases where Hicks ignored potential jail abuse, including this brutal treatment of Joseph Hanzich. Joseph provided a sworn affidavit to the ranger 11 months ago.
The fact is that it was so brazen and blatant. It was such an act of judicial misconduct, police misconduct.
Briley Garza, the woman you saw pounding Joseph in the head, she was given the 2021 Jail Supervisor of the Year award. But a jail whistleblower has provided the FBI with additional abuse allegations about Garza and others in a 10-page affidavit we've also obtained. An affidavit that also says Garza was protected by the sheriff because of their relationship. The whistleblower also says the guy you see here, Alexander Riley, has a, quote, temper and is typically the one that is, quote, banging up people. The affidavit, now in the hands of the FBI, claims Riley has struck other inmates in the face while they are physically restrained. Ranger Hicks may have ignored jail abuse complaints, but he's also under fire for conducting investigations into what appear to be political enemies of local DAs. In Nacogdoches, Hicks showed up at Peter Fernandez's office to question him about his role in creating a political attack website on the DA. You know, the one with the unflattering video of Andrew Jones getting busted a second time for drunk driving. Jones wanted the website pulled down. Fernandez refused. Within hours, Fernandez says Ranger Hicks showed up screaming.
Texas Rangers should not be used for political purposes, period.
The DPS won't let us see Hicks' final investigative report in the Fernandez case, claiming it's still an open investigation after more than 3 years.
Ranger Hicks.
And we know Hicks left his normal territory to help another DA, Janet Castles, on investigations that targeted her political enemies. Castles has refused calls to recuse herself in a number of cases.
I think it's a legitimate question to ask whether you're being used by the Angelina County DA.
Hicks was involved in that investigation of former Angelina County Judge Don Limberry for a violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Limberry was found guilty last month, but the prosecution has been criticized for playing politics. Hicks wasn't called as a witness in the wake of our Rogue Ranger reports.
I feel like it was definitely political.
I want to talk about asphalt.
About what?
Asphalt.
I don't know nothing about asphalt.
We've learned the DPS Internal Affairs Division is now asking questions about another Ranger investigation in East Texas. A very brief investigation of Angelina County Commissioner Terry Pitts and his use of asphalt.
I got court to do now and I don't have time to fool with you.
Pitts only paved half the roads in Angelina County he promised he would with borrowed tax money in a year's period. But he used all the asphalt anyway. Ranger Ryan Clendenin spent only a few weeks investigating that, what he called a discreet and limited evaluation, before declaring there was nothing to see here. He did no forensic audit or even an interview with the complainant.
Never contacted me, not a phone call, nothing. Even though I'm talking about $300,000 worth of asphalt that's unaccounted for.
What's going on in East Texas threatens to fuel allegations that some Texas Rangers are simply there to play politics, often protecting local law enforcement. Relationships built when the Ranger stays in the same place too long. Take this video. There's no evidence Ranger Hicks ever asked to even see if it existed. The beating, the injection, the convulsions, and the Nacogdoches jailer reports that can be disproven by the video we've now obtained. This is why we asked to see all restraint chair videos used in the Nacogdoches County Jail months ago. The public should demand Nacogdoches County Commissioners show them all to us.
We have a culture of good old boys. They act with impunity because everybody's got their back.